2021 Mazda 6 Signature. This is the last edition of the Mazda 6 that we know of. This past May, Mazda decided to discontinue the CX-3, which no one really cares about, but the Mazda 6 was also discontinued at the same time. Today, we're gonna get a little bit intimate with the Mazda 6, look at its greatness and its downfalls, and try to figure out what's coming next from Mazda. So in 2002, Mazda decided to replace the long-going Mazda 626. That vehicle had been around since like 1970, and the Mazda 6 was almost like a sixth generation Mazda 626. Instead, Mazda decided to name it the 6 instead of the 626. And this edition that we see right now is really the third generation of the Mazda 6. So the first generation Mazda 6 was from 02 to 07, 08, and to me that's one of the best looking Mazda sedans. They even made a Mazda Speed variant of that Mazda 6. Lovely vehicle. It just looked so good. It looked kind of ahead of its time. Mazda's always made beautifully designed cars until the second generation Mazda 6 came around, and I thought that sedan was hideous. It never grew on me. I always thought it looked a little bit spaceshipy, a little bit alien, and then they brought out this third generation Mazda 6 in 2012. Hasn't changed a whole lot since then, which is a good thing and a bad thing. We'll talk about that in this review today, but here we are 9 years after they introduced this third generation Mazda 6, and it has been officially canceled. And we'll talk about at the end of this review what's coming to replace this Mazda 6 as we know it. So let's talk about what we have on hand here, this discontinued model. It's still a very gorgeous vehicle. The outside had a refresh or two throughout those 9 years. I tell you what, the grille still looks great. That Pentagon-like grille, they're not the only ones to have Pentagon grills. We know Acura has their whole lineup based on them. And there are other models out there as well that have the Pentagon grille, like Genesis. So they still look unique. You know, they have that chrome strip that runs underneath the headlights, underneath the grille, that is unique to the Mazda. And I typically hate chrome on vehicles, but I tell you what, it still looks good here in 2021 with this Mazda 6. The headlights look pretty sharp. What hasn't aged as well for Mazda is going to be the fender flares on the front wheels. To me, they just a little too swoopy. They seem like from a design language from a previous generation for Mazda. You go around the back, the taillights look a little dated. You got to appreciate the dual exhaust. Mazda always does a good job with that. The badges in the rear look pretty classy, you know, the chrome finish with the signature badge to add on top of it. It looks good overall, and for a vehicle that came out in 2011, should I say a sedan more specifically, because SUVs and trucks, should I say body on frame SUVs and trucks, they tend to age a little bit better than cars and crossovers. So the fact that this vehicle still looks good and relevant and fairly fresh here in 2021 just says a lot for Mazda and their original design for this vehicle back in 2012. And I just started adding key fobs into the review criteria. And the key fob on this Mazda 6, I would give it a solid B overall. Good weight to it. It's not too thick. That's something that drives me nuts about certain key fobs. They just kind of are bulging out of your pocket. Get your mind out of the gutter, guys. All the buttons are on one side, and then on the back side you just have that nice Mazda logo, but a nice matte smooth finish and a chrome plate around the edges. It's a very well designed and very sturdy feeling key fob. Now you need the key fob to get into the interior, and this is where the Mazda 6 has aged like a fine wine. That dash is that smooth white material with the wood accent right above it. The seats in this are just gorgeous with the white, and then on the back it has that little chrome plate. I mean, it's just the small details Mazda has really given to this Mazda 6, and it's held up really well over time. The climate control is fantastic in here. The dual knobs, the buttons are easy to get to, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. This particular model, being Signature, has a lot of extra features. I mean, it has a heads-up display. I mentioned heated ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. It does not have a panel roof. Just you can tell that this vehicle is from an era of time long ago. And the backup camera is absolutely horrendous. It looks like a backup camera taken with a picture camera phone from like 2003. It is that bad, and I cannot believe that is in a top of the line Mazda signature badged vehicle. It's a travesty. The safety features in here are good. You have the radar cruise control, blind spot monitor, yada, yada, yada. So it does a good job there, and it has the parking sensors on top of it. And the screen doesn't seem that low resolution now that I have, you know, Android Auto plugged into it. But what's really interesting, even the controls around the knob, which I'm not a big fan of the rotary dial in here, it works actually pretty well with the Android Auto. You just rotate it and it selects different things in the Android Auto, and you press the home button and it actually takes you to the home for Android Auto. So they've synced the buttons in here really well to work with Android Auto, and probably CarPlay for that matter, but you know, I'm not an Apple guy. And the MID behind the steering wheel is pretty big. It's just kind of outlined by that large physical ring. And then on each side you have actual physical gauges for your tachometer, which I always appreciate. A physical tachometer gives me the best response, and I just feel a little bit more connected to the car with a physical tach. And in the back seat, not only is it comfortable, but the attention to detail, like I said, on the back seats, you have that chrome piece, and you have map pockets back there. You have heated outboard seats, which is a very luxurious feature that you don't see in a lot of cars in this price point. It's a pro and a con. So you have the heated outboard seats, and you actually have USB ports back there. The bad thing is that they're in the armrest. So if you have 3 people in the back, it's going to be hard getting to those USB quick charging points, and it's also going to be hard to heat those rear outboard seats. Now, this is still powered by the 2.5 liter turbo. Nothing wrong with that. Up to 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque if you put 93 octane in it. We're just going to floor it real quick. Actually, let's put it into sport mode. We still have sport modes in this vehicle. 3, 2, 1, go. Yes. Yes, I love this 2.5 liter, and you still have the old 6-speed automatic, but it doesn't matter because it is very responsive and it shifts very quickly and satisfying. You do have paddle shifters in here, but you know, I typically don't use paddle shifters in an automatic car unless I'm on the track or something. 3, 2, 1, go. And that torque just thrust this vehicle forward. It's very, very satisfying, and this is the top of the line power plant for now for the Mazda vehicles, and it is a great one. Fuel economy, yeah, it's not going to be stupendous. Like I said, 6-speed automatic isn't going to help all that much with that. And yeah, so I'm getting about 20 miles per gallon in my drive with the Mazda 6. Yes, that torque is so good. Now we're going to hit the brakes pretty hard here and then get into the turn. Brakes are excellent. And we accelerate out of the turn. Maybe lost a little bit of traction. So the vehicle is pretty eager to turn in. It just feels like it's very heavy. It doesn't, it definitely kind of bogs through the turns, but it does handle well. And the steering is very stiff. And speaking of stiff, the suspension, and this is kind of characteristic of Mazda overall, is their suspensions are pretty stiff. So if you live in an area that has potholes and bad pavement, you're gonna feel it through the chassis. And I just hit a little pothole there, and you definitely feel it in this vehicle. But when you're on smooth pavement, it's almost encouraging you to push it a little bit. So it is definitely a more driver's focused vehicle. Although it is heavy, or it feels heavy in the turns, it does handle very, very well. Flip it into sport. We're going to merge onto the highway. Started raining a bit, losing some traction, spinning some wheels. Okay, that was a bit dramatic, wasn't it? Rain starts hitting, floor it, spin the wheels a little bit, and I'm grinning. This vehicle just makes you smile when you push it, and I think it's because it's not supposed to, at least from the looks of it. It doesn't look like it's going to rip your face off, but the torque definitely is there, and it does encourage you to have fun in this vehicle. And that's something I forget about the Mazda 6, is that you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a comfortable car, you know, the interior is really nice, you can hang out in there, but you always forget, at least in this turbo trim, that it will do burnouts for you whenever you want and put a smile on your face. And that is something Mazda has a lot to live up to. I mean, this vehicle, it is sad to see it canceled, but something better could be on the horizon. Mazda is working on a rear-wheel drive platform with an inline-six engine, and it could be an all-wheel drive platform, but rear-wheel drive based. We still don't know all the details about it, but we know that inline-six is going to be a 3-liter. We know it's going to be a mild hybrid, and there's a possibility we could see either a Skyactiv X engine. We could also see a turbo variant or twin turbo variant, and let your imagination run wild. Since Mazda is partially owned by Toyota, who knows, maybe they work together and create some amazing vehicles like a next generation RX 9 or a next generation Supra. But let's get back to this vehicle. The Mazda 6 is getting away from front wheel drive. It will be rear wheel drive biased, if not all wheel drive standard, and it is going to be amazing in theory. If this car being front wheel drive and a torque burnout machine, what is going to happen with this really fun and engaging inline six? It's definitely more performance oriented. The car is going to handle better. The weight distribution is going to be better, and we're going to have a little bit more fun with a rear wheel drive bias system. Not only that, there's going to be a plug-in hybrid 4-cylinder in a next generation Mazda 6 sedan. We don't know if it's going to be called the Mazda 6. They could call it like a Mazda 7. They could call it the Mazda 9 or 929. Really don't know what they're going to do in terms of naming. We just know Mazda has to bring us a new flagship sedan to replace this Mazda 6. This vehicle is just so good. Even after 9 years of being on the market, yes, it has its downfalls, but it's still a really fun and rewarding car to drive. The interior is nice, the exterior looks great, especially in Soul Red. And man, really, all Mazda needed to do to this vehicle is maybe just update the exterior a little bit, like a heavy exterior refresh, and give it all-wheel drive. But they're like, no, we're just gonna scrap it and give you something better altogether. We're not going to remedy the situation. We're going to completely fix the situation by giving you a better product from the ground up. And I cannot wait to see what Mazda gives us with a next generation Mazda that's rear wheel drive with an inline six. But guys, I'll see you in the comments below. Throw a like for the Mazda 6. It's gone as we know it. And even then, it's still a vehicle that I'm going to miss. I'm going to take it out of sport mode because it likes to rev a little bit higher. There we go. But even as it is, it's a great vehicle. It always brings a smile to my face. And it's just also a great vehicle to commute in and spend time in, because the material in here is so nice. It's so comfortable. And the aesthetics as well as the functionality and ergonomics in here are top notch. But guys, I'll end it there. I'll see you in the next video. Smash the like button for the Mazda 6. Subscribe for more Mazda news and reviews. I'll catch you later. Peace out.